Hey, no, the weather was fantastic. Hopefully, folks did get a chance to get out there and enjoy. Let the sun hit your face.
As soon as the noon show's done, we're out.
Hey, well,
gonna check it out.
That's not a bad time either. I'm right there with you. Hey, look at this temperature change, because even though it's still pretty nice out there, it's hard to believe, but these temperatures are about 5 to 15 degrees warmer now than they were yesterday at this time. Now, you have to remember, we ended up with a high temperature that was about 10 to 15 degrees below average yesterday afternoon. So even though the sun was out, we saw those temperatures only getting into the mid to upper 70s. Well, guess what? Today, it's going to be much warmer, but still below average as we end the day. So that lets you know how far below average we really were. Temperatures out there right now, we're up to 80 in Ogden, but 72 in Logan, 76 in Salt Lake City, 77 Wendover, 82 in Vernal, 86 degrees in Moab and Hanksville, 76 in Milford, Cedar City, and we've got temperatures around 85 degrees currently in St. George. So as I mentioned this afternoon, we're still going to be much warmer than yesterday, but the high temperature is still going to end up well below average across the area here. We're looking at highs only in the low to mid 80s here along the Wasatch Front. Keep in mind, our normal high this time of the year now is in the upper 80s. So that's still going to be several degrees below average. Meanwhile, down south, we're looking at a high of about 93 in St. George. Your average high this time of the year is in the upper 90s at 99 degrees. So again, below average from north to south across the state, even though it's going to be a good bit warmer today than what we saw yesterday. Of course, the big story that we continue to keep an eye out on is the fire threat out there for you. We, of course, have the ongoing fires, but we're also on alert for the potential of some new fires to start, and that's because we've got the strong southwesterly flow combining with the dry vegetation out there and the low humidity levels that the southwest flow brings in, and that's creating that elevated fire condition pretty much for the eastern Uinta Basin down towards southeastern Utah, and then any area along and south of I-70 across the state has that threat, and pretty elevated threat for us again this afternoon. We also have fire weather warnings in effect stretching from Vernal down through Green River and the Moab area this afternoon for the conditions really to come together that any sparks that develop will spread quickly. So you got to be careful with that. I do want to update you here on some of the new numbers again coming in with the Forsyth fire up to 8,200 acres now burned. France Canyon fire now looking at almost 26,000. Wow. And then the Bridge Creek fire, almost 2,300 acres burned there. As you look at the state as a whole, we are under the influence of some of that smoke and haze just because of that southwest and northeasterly flow. And this trend is expected to continue. But this afternoon, notice we get a new plume of that activity coming across Castle Country up into the Uinta Basin there. And we'll see more of that developing across southwestern Utah as well. So expect more haze and smoke to spread out across the state. We could use some rain to mix up the air and to wash out some of this smoke and haze and squash the fires. But looks like the heavy rain event, Colorado, New Mexico, staying to our south and east. So sadly, we're not going to really be able to tap into that. There are a couple of sprinkles off to our west in Nevada with a weak system, but it will stay to our south. We're back to normal tomorrow. Then we're just hot as we get towards your Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend. St. George, low 90s to mid 90s on your Wednesday. Hazy, smoky sunshine and below average temperatures. But you see the triple digits for the end of the week heading into the weekend as it gets hotter, folks. Even along the Wasatch Front, a big jump in those temperatures. By Monday, we're talking near 100 degrees again.